Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another collection update for you today. It's just the Hinderers. You guys ask about my Hinderers a lot. You know I have a lot of them. I do. I have a problem. I've got 8 of them. But I found that what makes me feel better about my 8 Hinderers and makes me feel like I don't have a problem is if you go on Facebook and go on the Hinder users and collectors group, Hinder Knives users and collectors group, something like that. I only have 8. There are guys who have 20 of one model. So it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better about myself. It's like if you think you have a drinking problem and you go to your first AA meeting and everybody there is way worse than you and you're like, nah, I'm all right, and you leave. Or your house is dirty and you feel like maybe I should clean the house. Watch an episode of Hoarders. And then you're like, nah, I don't need to clean my house anymore. My house is fine. It's kind of like that, but with cool knives. I'm going to answer one question here that's going to take a couple minutes. So if you guys don't want to listen to the answer to this question, which is where I buy my Hinderers at, you can go down below and skip ahead in the thing. I'll timestamp it so you can do that. But I do get this question a lot, and I do want to explain it. So I get mine primarily from 4 places, and I will admit I own a knife channel on YouTube. I've got a decent following. I probably do get a few advantages here and there, but not much. I can get direct from Hinder pretty much, a lot of stuff except exclusives. So, and they'll hold one for me. So there's that. But other than that, I buy them mostly just like you guys do. I think I've paid full retail for more Hinderers than any other brand that I have. So I just want to get that out there right off the bat. But that said, there's 4 of them, 4 places I get them all from. My favorite place to buy from definitely is USA Made Blade down in North Carolina. Witty, awesome guy, hilarious. If you have time Thursday nights at 10 o'clock, I highly encourage you to go on Instagram and watch their live show. It's always a lot of fun. A lot of little inside jokes. There's a lot of drinking and swearing going on during it. It's a blast. Definitely go check that out. And they have really cool swag. Like, I don't know if they still do these, but this little challenge coin that has a bottle opener on it, which is really cool. This is my favorite coin that I have. But great place to buy stuff. And they do a crap ton of exclusives. I think they do more exclusives than almost anybody else through Hinder, and really cool ones because they collaborate, and Witty's always got really good ideas and Rick's always got good ideas. And they've come up with some amazing, amazing exclusives that you can only get there. And you're going to see a couple of them on here, 2 awesome ones. And next up would be Southern Edges, another small company. Also, really nice guy. Just started doing exclusives. There's an exclusive in here from Southern Edges. Not to be confused with Southern Edge Knife Works, one of our usual sponsors, the southernedges.com. It's a different place. I know people always ask if I have a discount code for them. I don't. It's a different place. But what I like about getting Hinderers from him is now he's exclusive, so I'll probably get more. Honestly, I buy more Microtechs there than anything else because he's a huge Microtech dealer. But for some reason, they don't get picked over as much as a lot of the other sites do. I don't know if people just don't know what's out there or whatever. I'm probably shooting myself in the foot mentioning it. But you can find discontinued stuff, especially recently discontinued stuff, or runs that you thought were gone everywhere else. They still have 1 or 2 laying around. I find almost invariably if you dig far enough in the site, you can find them, and it's really cool. The site maybe it's because the site layout isn't exactly perfect, that people don't scroll enough pages down to find them. But I found one that's going to be here towards the end of the list on there that I'd given up on finding one, and just kept clicking enough that I found it. And he had it, brand new in the box, exactly the configuration that I wanted. So pretty cool site to go get stuff like that, and nice people, and they have a cool logo with a sexy lady on it. Third would be DLT Trading. I don't really have any relationship with them. They're kind of a big company. I just buy stuff and it shows up. Just the same as anybody else. They do a lot of exclusives as well, so I'll get exclusives from them. If it's a regular production Hinder, I usually try and get it somewhere else just because I know the people better and I like having a personal relationship. Maybe you can get that at DLT. I don't know. I've never made the attempt. I'm not blaming them, but they are a bigger company. But I do buy a crap ton of parts from DLT for sure, because they always have a bunch. Definitely if you're trying to find scales or especially hardware, they have a lot of it in stock, more than anybody else. So that's kind of why I go there. And then 4th is from Rick Hinder Knives. You can go to rickhinderknives.com. He lists knives all the time. Highly recommend you follow them on Instagram, or the again, that aforementioned users and collectors group. they will mention when, hey, I'm releasing 5 or 6 of these on the site tonight. If you want, go grab one, because they go fast off the Rick Hinderer site, but he does release them sometimes, and that's pretty awesome. So I think that's all I want to say about that. So let's get to the knives. I'm doing this now because I think my collection, I hate calling it collection because I still don't feel like a collector, because I try and carry everything. So, but my collection, for lack of a better word, has stabilized. I've kind of settled, and I really like these 8 that I've got. I have no plans on selling any of them. So that's why I thought now would be a good time to do this. So let's get going. I'm going to try and go from like smallest to largest, basically. But let's start out with my smallest Hinderer, but yet one of my absolute favorites, and a USA Made Blade exclusive. This is the half-track Warnie. Now, as of yesterday, I think there were still a couple on the site. I'm not sure if there still are, but go check out USA Made Blade anyway. The link's down below. Great place to buy Hinderers. The half-track is awesome. It is one of my favorite models. It's a small knife, but it still fills my hand really well. Even if I don't use the forward choil, I can still get all 4 fingers on it, but with that little bit of a forward choil. And the exclusive part is this Wharncliffe blade, which love it. Absolutely love it on this knife. If you find somewhere in the deep bowels of YouTube, there is a video with Rick explaining why he did the angle this way, but it works. You get a lot of power, it cuts through stuff really well. Great knife. I have had to sharpen this one a couple of times because I do use it quite a bit. 20 CV, this is just one of the basic configurations. 20 CV now is what they use on almost everything. This is just the standard Hinderer bronze with a black G10. So really like this one a whole lot, and yeah, it ain't going anywhere. I was tempted to get one of the new full tie ones in this last run, but I don't know. This is from the first run. This last run is the second run. I don't know if there's going to be a third, but anyway, there's quite a few of these out there floating around for a Hinderer exclusive anyway. Next up, a fairly recent addition. This is actually my second one. Sorry. This is a FireTac in Battle Black. I had the Stonewash FireTac, liked it way more than I was expecting to, and Sam over at Rick Hinderer Knives emailed me, and they knew I was looking for some kind of Battle Black, and they said, hey, we got FireTacs in Battle Black. Do you want one? And I was like, yes, I do. So I got it, and got rid of the other one. It does have the micarta scale on it. This is an actual Hinderer scale, so it's not an aftermarket piece. There are some aftermarket parts on here. I know that sometimes really hardcore Rick Hinderer fans don't like aftermarket parts, but I do have a couple. But I love the look of it. I've darkened this up as much as I can. This came as the natural micarta. I liked the brown and black combo, but I want it to be a little bit darker. It's using a Hinderer bronze pocket clip and the filler tab. I like the look of it. I like the look of the plain black as well, though, or the battle black. I'm not really sure which clip combo I like. I think I like this better. And then a lovely viewer was nice enough to send me a battle bronze thumb disc, which matches close enough. It's not quite exactly the same, but it's pretty close. So yeah, I like the overall look of it, the way it came out. And it's the one I've been carrying the most, I will say for sure. It's actually on my most carried this month list. It was split between 2 different FireTacs, but it's still the FireTac. It's very slim in the pocket. Don't hate the recurve at all. It's not going to be a problem to sharpen, and it still has just enough recurve to really hold the blade in when you're cutting through, like long cardboard cuts and stuff like that. And for the kind of stuff that I do, it works really well. Ergos are great, and it's broken in quite nicely, as you can see. So, yeah, love the FireTac, and this is a Battle Black FireTac, which is not only fun to say, but Battle Black is cool. If I ever get any more Hinderers, I'm going to be aiming for some more Battle Blacks. I just think it looks awesome. The next 2 are both XM18 skinnies, but they are both quite a bit different, and one's a bit special. This is the DLT exclusive no choil. If you see a no choil or a non-flipper, especially in M390, it's a DLT exclusive. That's their kind of trademark that they use all the time. This does have an aftermarket Sharp Dress Knives scale on it, which I really like a lot. This is in black micarta. And if you are happy that you can get micarta or aftermarket scales for the XM18 skinny in micarta and carbon and all that stuff, you're welcome, because I sent him one of my scales and he started making them. So I'm gonna take credit for that just because I wanted one. So yeah, I sent him one of my skinny scales, and he used it as a pattern to make more of them. But great ergos. I really like the no choils. They're kind of my favorite XM18s, and the skinny. I always recommend this as like your first hinderer. This or the Jurassic, which sadly I don't have one of those right now. That's kind of the only one I really want to add to the 8. I miss my Jurassic. Sold it thinking there was going to be another one coming up, and it got pushed back because of COVID and all that. So God knows when the hell I'll ever see another one of those. But yeah, really good ergos. Carries really nice, and it looks really good. I used some the only other parts on it that I changed are the screws are from an XM18 Warncliffe that I used to have, no choil Warncliffe that I traded off for a couple other knives that you will see shortly. I recently just traded that off because these came off of that. But yeah, love the XM18 skinny. Love the look of that scale for sure. Next up, this is a pretty special one. So this is an XM18 skinny Skinner, which was a USA Made Blade exclusive, but this isn't just that. This is, if it comes across on there, the COVID-19 edition. So the story behind this is the only person allowed in the shop basically was Rick himself. So he assembled a bunch of knives himself, which he rarely does anymore. So this was assembled by Rick during the first part of the lockdown, and really happy to have it. The Skinner blade is not my favorite for looks, but I do have to say it is one of my favorites to actually use, and everything I like about the XM18 skinny. This is a choil. I do like the choil, especially on the Skinner. It is good to be able to choke up like that. It's just sometimes I don't want it, but it does work pretty well on this. It did come with a green scale. Obviously, I've changed all that to a lot of blue stuff. So and it's got the USA Made Blade Sasquatch on the filler tab. So yeah, just a really cool knife, and it's got a cool story. But even cooler because I got it through a like lottery thing basically on their live show. Sometimes they do a thing called What's in the Box. They pull something out from the box. It was this. You put your name in, they do a drawing, and you just have the opportunity to buy it. You don't win it, you just have the opportunity to buy it. These were gone. It was the last one. I had COVID, so I really wanted it. It meant something to me to kind of celebrate my recovery. It was like right as I was starting to feel better. So yeah, I managed to get it. So yeah, this one will never go away because it's just a very, very special knife to me, because it's remembering that I recovered from COVID, and it put together by Rick himself, and you don't see that much anymore. And it's just a really good knife. Next up, this is the newest edition. This is the Southern Edges exclusive, the Eclipse Bowie, the Eclipse 3.5 inch Bowie. Awesome knife. Honestly, I was not expecting to like this so much, but I really, really do like it. I love the look of it. I think the Bowie looks so good with the Eclipse handle. I think they just flow together really well. I just really like that. By the way, everything you've seen here so far is $425. That's just what Hinderers cost, with a couple of exceptions. They're all $425. So everything you've seen here, $425. So if I forget to say the price, just assume it's $425 unless I say otherwise. I apologize for not saying that sooner. But no choil, but man, it's just a great place to lay your thumb. What I like about what Hinderer does, I wish I still had my Warncliffe just to show you. I traded it off because I just didn't carry it. And we'll talk more later about another one that I did get rid of. But even though it's a Bowie, look at the tip on that. The Warncliffe also had a pretty good tip on it. They do a really good job of knives that usually have really dainty, snappable tips, still making pretty decent tips on them. I really appreciate that. And this thing just looks great. And it's got my favorite, I guess for lack of a better term, stock Hinderer scale, the black and blue G10. Other than that, it's just a basic stonewash one, no fancy finishes on it or anything like that. But love it. This is really blown me away. Ergos are great. Carries really well. Not dramatically better than an XM18, but maybe just a little bit better. I think in the first impressions I said the same, but I think after a few days, maybe just a little bit better. But great knife. Very, very impressed with it. This one is not as broken in as well as the others, so it's not quite as drop shutty, but it'll get there. I'm sure it's already changed noticeably just in the few days I've had it. Next up, this is my only quote-unquote normal XM18, and it's not even that normal, I guess, but it's another DLT exclusive. This is a non-flipper Fullered Spear M390 Intel, and it is full the battle bronze tie with the Warthog scale, which is also a DLT exclusive pattern. This was part of a gift from a viewer that was a whole knife. But other than this, it was just kind of a normal battle bronze XM18. Some of these come available. I bought it, and then I did email the guy and said, hey, do you mind if I sell the other, because the other XM18, this is a regular slicer, which is still a great knife, don't get me wrong, but I said, do you mind if I sell it? I'm going to keep the scale for another thing, but you know, I don't really need two XM18s at the time. So he said, oh no, absolutely fine. I don't care what you do. It was a present. But this scale means a lot to me. I was in the Flying Tigers when I was in the Air Force, 23rd Fighter Wing out of Pope Air Force Base, and with the A-10. So it was pretty cool to have something, you know, commemorating my Air Force career. But still, I'm not afraid to carry this thing at all. I did swap out and put the bullet thing on. I've had this clip around for a while, and I'm not a huge gun guy, so I really didn't want to have something with a bullet on it, but it does look just like an A-10 30mm round, so I put that on there. Another A-10 thing, but I love the no choil Fuller's Spear because you can spidey flick it and all the fun stuff. Obviously, you can use the thumb studs. You can just use the Fuller. You have a no flipper tab, which makes it carry a lot better, and I think just look prettier. We'll talk more about stuff that if I could get any more, what I would get at the end here. But I'm going to try really hard to keep it at 8, but we'll see. Yeah, very drop shutty. It has the working finish blade, as all the battle finishes do. And just, yeah, love it to tiny little pieces. Absolutely one of my favorites. It started out at $425. I think this scale is $200, so it's a lot more than that now. Next up, this is one that was a bit of a rarity, and I managed to get my hands on one. It's been discontinued for quite a while, and another one that has an aftermarket part I'm going to take credit for. So this is the Full Track. This is a Spanto, and it came with red G10 scale. I bought the blue-black G10 scale for it, but eventually, again, he didn't make them prior to me sending them, but I sent a set of my scales off to Sharp Dressed Knives, and now he makes Full Track scales. So if you know anything about the Full Track, underneath here it usually has like a little pocket you can put all your other washers in, because this was the first Hinderer to have a tri-way pivot, which again all of mine have, but it's signified by that little thing there. It's either on the flipper tab on most of them, or if you have a non-flipper, it's there on the blade tank. So this doesn't have the pocket though, so if you order the aftermarket scales, you lose the pocket. I never use that pocket anyway, so I really don't care. But yeah, it's just marble carbon, nothing too crazy, but I just thought it would look great, and they're all very reasonably priced as well. The Full Track's just an awesome model. These were, or are, if you can find one, $595. Was it $695? I believe it was $595. I don't know if they're ever coming back. I do know that Rick has said that they cost a lot to make, and he wasn't charging enough for them. And I can see why. Not only does they have that milled pocket underneath here, it comes with all the tool that you need to take it apart. You don't have to buy any extra tools. This is it. This does everything. And it snaps right in there, which is really cool little party trick. But it's very comfortable in the hand. Carries a lot better than you'd think for a pretty big knife. It's a bit heavy, but yeah, love the Full Track. I hope to see more of them, but I wouldn't hold my breath. This one's working finish, the blade and everything. So yeah, definitely will never get rid of this because they are getting increasingly hard to get your hands on. Last up would be my XM24, and this is a US made blade, kind of exclusive. It has their finish on it, but a red scale. This is their battle bronze. It's not Hinderers battle bronze, and then they bronzed all this hardware. What's cool about USA made blade, another reason to like them, is they don't charge for this stuff. It's just they do them up, and as long as you're buying like a stock, a quote unquote one that's in stock, not a stock one, but one that's in stock, it doesn't cost any extra. This was $595, just like the XM24 is. I don't understand why the XM24 is so much more money than the XM18, but there you have it. But yeah, this is just the normal price. I think I will change the scale at some point. I do like this red better than I expected to, because it comes out more of a burgundy, because it's semi-translucent if you see it off the knife, and the bronze kind of comes through a little bit, so it's kind of more burgundy than just pure red. This is the sheep's foot. Love sheep's foot blades. Sheep's feet. Yes, we'll go with that. I love sheep's feet, and this is just awesome. I do really like the choil on the 24. Even if they made a no choil 24, I probably wouldn't jump on that. But great in the hand, and it's just, I love carrying this thing. I know some people say the X-Men 24 is too big to carry. I don't feel that way. It's heavy, but other than that, you know, not too bad. Downsize the 24, it's $595, and I just don't get why. I'd get 500, but $595 is really a lot, because it's basically all the same design as the 18. It's just bigger. I don't think materials cost, I don't know. I'm not a manufacturer. I don't know. I'm sure they have good reason for it, but they are pricey. But yeah, and I love all the cool USMA blade touches, because, you know, my other two USMA blade exclusives don't really have any other USMA blade touches to them, so I like that this one's got some actual stuff that Woody did, so happy to have that. So there you go. That is my Hinderer collection. Ones I've gotten rid of recently, you've seen. I said my Warncliffe, that was the War Pig thing I did in that little battle with Metal Complex with the coolest Hinderer, which I narrowly lost, and but that's not why I sold it. I wasn't mad at it. It's just it was a no-choil warnie, and I don't like warnies that big, I think, at the end of the day. And one of my friends really wanted it and kept increasing trade offers to me to a point where I couldn't say no. And then I had an XM24 vintage. I named it and everything, and I really wanted to keep it again. It was a really good friend of mine, avid collector, and didn't have a 24 and really wanted a vintage 24, and I didn't carry it. So I sold it to him for the same price that I got it for. It was kind of a helping out a friend thing. So, and I know it went to a great home, so I was fine with it. But the only two things I'm really looking for, like I said, I'm pretty happy with what I got. It's kind of stabilized. I've never liked the XM18 3-inch. You saw there were none in here. But I did handle a no-choil, and that seemed a lot better. So if I could find a XM18 3-inch no-choil, I might be interested in one of those. If somebody's out there looking to sell one. Sorry, no, not no-choil. No flipper. An XM18 3-inch no flipper. I think I would like that. Okay, so if you have a non-flipper 3-inch, let me know. And the Jurassic. I'm probably going to wait for a new one of those to come out. I'm sure there's new ones coming out this year at some point. See what the new blade shape is. If not, I'll go back looking for a used one. But that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this and found it somewhat informative. I tried to answer some of the Hinderer questions that I get. I know it was a bit rambly. I should have started off with the prices and I didn't, but oh well, nobody's perfect. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.